Come see films together. Some experiences are too big to fit in your living room. The Hamptons International Film Festival, October 3rd through the 13th. Tickets available now.
Hi everybody, I'm Greg Shamizi for WVVH-TV, Hamptons Television. And this is the 33rd annual Hamptons International Film Festival. We're going to be doing filmmaker interviews in a few moments. But for more information, contact hamptonsfilmfest.org.
My name is Michael Salama.
My name is Gaston Silberman.
And we're extremely happy to be here at the Hamptons International Film Festival with our short documentary, Kotsuni, People of the Lake.
We're here with two young filmmakers, and I assume you're young, right? You're not all that plastic surgery that we have here in the Hamptons. Did you take advantage of that? No, not yet. You don't need it. But the movie is a wonderful documentary called Kotsuni and People of the Lake. And it is Spanish, 12 minutes. A wonderful 12 minutes. So, and it is going to be, was it premiered here or no?
No.
But the U.S. premiere?
No, the U.S. premiere was in Doc NYC last year.
Excellent. And you two guys, young filmmakers, now, first introduce yourselves to the people at home. Here we go.
I'm Gaston Silberman, I'm a co-director, and together with...
I'm Michael Salama.
Very good. And how did you guys meet?
He was doing water-related investigation for his undergrad thesis about it, and I was doing a documentary photography project, and we both came up together to this story that we realized that we should do something else, and we decided to do a short film to get more outreach and to get this story to the world.
Great idea. Now you come from a filmmaking background?
No, this is not just our first film together, but it's both of our first films, period. Even when we started this project, it didn't start as a film project. So it sort of grew into that because we felt it would be one of the best ways to achieve impact, because this is an impact-driven story about a community that lived on a lake for their entire history, and then the lake has dried out. And it's about how they adapt culturally and economically to that.
What a shock. There must have been what did they do? It like for real estate prices, or they just did it? It was just what exactly happened that it unfortunately dried up the lake?
It's a mix between climate-related drought and also diversion of its headwaters for mining and agriculture.
Oh, and the people were devastated, right, with that?
Yeah, they call themselves People of the Lake because the lake was not just their source of livelihood, but also their source of, like, their main source of cultural identity. They're really, really connected to the lake since their entire history, so it's pretty devastating for them, but they're also looking for a lot of alternatives and trying to develop different options to not have to work in the very same mines that stole the lake.
But that must have been devastating for that to happen. All of a sudden you had a lake, and, I can't imagine that having here. Like, if that happened here in the Hamptons, we'd be really in deep trouble, right? Don't you think?
I mean, imagine that the beautiful beaches of the Hamptons one day just disappeared. Right, it's the thing that defines this place, and it defines in many ways the culture of the people here, and it's devastating when it disappears. Yeah,
it is. And the research that you did to go into it, you actually, met the people and the history of it, and it's been a lake for thousands of years, right? Well, millennia, probably. But and it happened all at once when they shut the headwaters off. The lake dried up.
It was a process. It wasn't a one-day thing, but over the course of the last 50 years, also, it's not just a drought, it's the contamination and the polluted soils because of the mines that make, maybe there was some water, but there was no life anymore. There was no fish, no birds, so that's the main issue. And sometimes in rain season, we have a little bit of water in the lake, but it dries out very fast and there's no life in it.
And here again, it's in Argentina.
No, it's in Bolivia. It's right next to it, right next door.
Yeah. Pretty good, pretty good. And are you originally from Argentina or Bolivia?
I'm from Argentina.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm from New York. My family is from Argentina, but I grew up here.
Yeah, we have relatives down there, Rosario de Santa Fe, down there. And it was interesting because they emigrated to Argentina when they couldn't get into the United States. They ended up down there. But many, many years later, we got together, and it was amazing. I guess the genetics stronger than...
There's a lot of Italian descendants in Argentina and all around.
Absolutely. And were you trained in film school, or how did you...
No, we didn't have any formal training with filmmaking. Gaston's a wonderful photographer and cinematographer, and I've done some video work and audio work and music, and we kind of combined our skills to
Terrific.
do this.
And are you guys working on your next project, or you haven't thought of that one yet?
Our next project, it's something that's happening now, that it's the impact campaign of this film. So we're now focusing on trying to translate the film's success into material change into the community. So that's our focus now, and for a couple of more months that we're working on.
Now you guys have a distributor. Is the documentary being distributed worldwide, or?
We are now, after Doc NYC, we had the possibility of winning, surprisingly, the grand jury prize that made us Oscar qualifying. So now we're going for it with the awards campaign, all with the goal of trying to translate that into the impact. And you can't watch it yet openly. I hope you're going to be able to at the end of the year.
Very good, and it's terrific. I think that the storyline is incredible, and it's an environmental people story, and people love that. I mean, it's something that really translates very well, and I wish you both a lot of success. And I know you're going to come back to this festival when you have your big major feature with all the main characters, probably Madonna in the lead and somebody else, and Puff Daddy doing the other thing. But whatever it is, I really applaud your work. You did a very good job. And just have fun at the festival, meet people, enjoy our environment here. And again, we're very grateful for what you've done.
My name is Anita Fonu. I'm here at the Hamptons International Film Festival. I am one of the producers for our film The Eyes of Ghana, which has screened but will also screen again next Saturday.
My name is Moses Buayo, and I'm the producer of The Eyes of Ghana, one of the producers of The Eyes of Ghana. I'm so honored to be at this festival. The Hamptons International Film Festival is one of my favorite places to be. It's my second time here. I had a great time last time, and we've had such a wonderful screening. It's been our US premiere, and yes, we have another screening next week on the 11th. So we're looking forward to it.
Okay, I'm here with two wonderful people. First time at the festival?
Second time.
Second time.
First for me.
All right. See, we didn't turn you off to the festival, which is good.
Yeah.
But we're here with the Eyes of Ghana, and I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. You are
Moses Buayo.
Moses.
Anita Afonu.
Well, Moses, this is you're involved with the film. You're the director, right?
I'm the producer.
Producer. Oh, yeah. You come up with all the money. So
we're producers, and she's also the storyteller in the film.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
You need a good storyteller in the film.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
So tell us the story. What should we know about the film?
Do I take the
whatever you like.
Yeah. So The Eyes of Ghana shows the life of a 93-year-old cameraman who filmed the life of the first president of Ghana, who inspired the revolution of the African continent.
Oh, wow.
There was an attempt to erase this president of ours, Kwame Nkrumah, because a coup was staged on him, but he managed to keep the film material in London. but he's also going blind. And so it is a race. It's a race to have the films that he shot in those times digitized so that they can be made accessible. So it's a beautiful story of him and me and a man also called Mr. Ado, who was protecting the last cinema house in Ghana called Rex Cinema.
And it's amazing. It's through that art form. It's incredible that he's losing his vision.
Yes.
And for a filmmaker to lose his vision is horrible.
And he's a cinematographer. He was a cinematographer. Your vision is everything.
Is everything.
Right.
But it's fortunate that you guys are helping to keep his legacy alive, which is important.
It is important, yeah.
And Ghana has gone through so many issues, and a handful of people holding everything together, and they're very brave to do what they're doing. So it's really something.
Right.
But so this is a documentary that is it the U.S. premiere this festival?
Yeah, this was our US premiere. We had our world premiere at TIFF, and it was a successful, wonderful premiere. And we've gone on to play at a few festivals, and now we're here in the US. And it's very exciting, and it's my second time here. This is one of the best festivals I've been to. And
I bet you
it's
say
been
that
lovely. No. This is special. This one is special.
It is.
And some of the team, it's their first time to be at the Hamptons, and we are just excited. Yesterday we had our US premiere that was very well attended. Great audience questions. Our audience was very active, and
And what's the thing that what do you see as the future of the film? Like, for instance, you see it like the success. What would you define success about this film? Just telling the story of the cinematographer? Or?
I think the success for this film will be to digitize these 1,300 reels that Chris Hesse filmed an almost lost history of Africa over time when Africa was dreaming. He was filming between the 50s, 60s, and the 70s. Right. This is when African countries are gaining independence from the colonial rule. So it was a time of hope, enthusiasm, and this dream of a new Africa. Right. So we hope to digitize these reels, repatriate them to Africa, make them accessible to other filmmakers and to young Africans who are at this moment looking for a new path for the continent.
Most said.
Preserving history, and also for the young people to know where they came from, and where they're going.
Yes.
Very important, and I really applaud you for this. This is terrific. And the whole idea of it is, people here in the States don't really know that much about any African country. It's really pitiful, But this is something to not only educate and be a part of the Guyanan history, but here in the United States, because people are looking to see, where have we come from, where are we going, and this has to be preserved. It's something that's very important. And I know in the United States there's a lot of things for film preservation. I know that what's his name?
Martin Scorsese.
Martin Scorsese. He's an advocate for film preservation, film history, and I'm pretty sure that if it gets the attention of some heavyweights, it would be like as a locomotive to help drive the identity of it. But here again, and if people want to look at the movie, when is it going to be? You had one exhibit. Are you going to have another one?
Yeah, we have a line of festivals that we're going to. We're going to Chicago. You guys are going
to the BFI London Film Festival. It's been accepted also to the Hawaii International Film Festival. Heartland. So we're looking forward to showing it in a lot of film festivals.
You're going to have a lot of
Virginia,
Yes,
Doc NYC.
yeah.
We're moving around,
Yes.
we're taking the word around, preaching the message of hope, change, and freedom. But I just wanted to add to your comment about the U.S. and young people and knowing what's outside of the U.S. I mean, Kwame Nkrumah was actually inspired here.
Yeah.
He was at Howard University?
No,
Lincoln University, and and he was inspired from the civil rights movement, and he went back home. He had this vision of a free black people, so he wanted to bring this back on the continent.
Wow.
And that's where this vision of the United States of Africa came from. And,
What an idea.
and I hope now we inspire people here as well, you know. Yeah.
But the story has to be told, and you two are terrific emissaries of the film, of the cinematographer, and of Guyana. And it's a beautiful country, and plenty of history, and we wish you all the best. So,
Yeah, but Mike, sorry.
okay, my younger brother is giving me the rap sign. I have to rap. You see the top of this mic, I usually hit him on the head.
I would have loved to see your childhood. Was it beating you a lot? Was it beating you a lot?
No.
Only kisses. Only.
You were pulling his legs
Maybe pull a leg.
and pranking him. Yeah.
But have a wonderful festival. Welcome here.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
My name is Abraham Joff, and I'm the director and producer of the new feature documentary Trade Secret. Trade Secret is a wildlife investigative thriller which exposes the little-known world of the international commercial skin trade in polar bears. It's premiering here at the Hamptons Film Festival, and people can find out more about the film and see the trailer at tradesecretfilm.com.
Whether you're 5 years old or 50 years old, the polar bear is the most beloved, iconic species.
So how many polar bears is there?
We probably have 300 to 400 of them.
300 to 400 polar bears in stock.
Yeah.
Scientists have described this as a ticking time bomb for the 26,000 remaining polar bears.
To see this majestic, iconic animal being reduced to a commercial product, is this what we're about?
In the last 50 years, we have lost 70% of the world's wildlife. And yet, with this catastrophic decline, nobody really knows what's going on in terms of the commercialization of these species.
These are the biggest polar bears you ever find. Nobody knows that we're doing this.
The results are in.
This story needs to be told.
Norway has this dark secret. That's illegal trafficking right there.
Let's rather speculate in trading gold or diamonds, not endangered species.
There's a dark secret in the conservation world that needs to be exposed. We haven't told the full story.
Alrighty, I'm here with Abraham Joff, and the movie is Trade Secrets. If you love polar bears and everything there is about them, and here in the United States, I remember growing up, we had a polar bear at Central Park Zoo, a New York polar bear, and he was very tough. He was in Central Park, and everybody would try to take pictures with him, and he'd be like very standoffish. But these are good polar bears, and we've been doing this job with Trade Secrets. And welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm very, very happy to have the film at the festival.
So give people, without blowing the whole thing, a thumbnail idea of what Trade Secrets are about.
So, to you? So Trade Secret is a wildlife investigative thriller, for want of a better word. It is about the international commercial skin trade in polar bears. Most people would be pretty shocked to hear that polar bears are traded internationally on the open commercial market. It's something that I was unaware of, and as a wildlife filmmaker of over 20 years, I saw my first polar bear in the wild about over 15 years ago, out on the sea ice 100 miles from shore. You know, the most spectacular animals that you can imagine. You know, they are probably one of the most beloved species on the planet, and people know how threatened they are by the changing world and the lack of sea ice. And yet on the very same trip I learned that that polar bear could end up shot for the international commercial skin trade, which was just a sort of unbelievable thing to learn. And it sparked the beginning of a very long journey to bring this film to screen.
You know, people are aware of the whale and the seal hunting and all that other stuff, but who's behind the hunting of this and the killing of these beautiful animals? I mean, they don't just come along automatically. This is an animal that you have to preserve, and their environment is threatened, and now people are out there shooting them.
Well, polar bears exist in 5 countries. They call it the range states. So the United States, in Alaska, in Canada, in Greenland, and Norway and Russia. So there's 5 countries that have polar bears, but there is only one country in the world that is actually supplying the international commercial trade, and that is Canada. It is still legal to trade from Canada, and it is still legal to trophy hunt. That means foreigners coming up and paying a lot of money to shoot a bear for a trophy. There's only one country that is supplying that trade, and it is still legal under the CITES, which is the Convention on the International Trade of Endangered Species. That would shock a lot of people, that this is still a legal trade in 2025.
That's unbelievable. That's heartbreaking. And you go through the whole, and just to get a fur coat out of it, or to get the claws, or whatever trophies they could get, and to sacrifice an animal for that, it's a stupid idea. I mean, to sacrifice such a beautiful, majestic animal like that, and but nothing surprises me. People are very cruel. But I'm glad you put this thing together, because it'll certainly increase. And I was not aware that Canada is at the top of the hit list like that. That's really a shame.
Yeah, there's many, I guess, revelations in this film. It was a long journey, and it's worth saying that we never knew where this story would go. You know, as a filmmaker, I'd always sought to find a subject that was worthy of long-term commitment and potentially a feature film adaptation. And this documentary, this story, was absolutely worthy of that format. And we truly did not know where this would lead us. I think the film, people are comparing it to Blackfish or The Cove, for want of a better word, a wildlife investigative thriller. But what I want people to walk away with is it does go meta. It is not just a film about polar bears. It does speak to so many species that are on the brink of extinction or threatened with extinction, and yet we're trading so many species around the world. And I think the film can be a big eye-opener for the global community to what is really going on. A lot of these decisions are made behind closed doors. A lot of these summits are people very far removed from the natural world. And so it was very important for me to connect people to these magnificent. It was very important for me to highlight the plight of the polar bear and just to tell the truth and be brave enough to tell the truth.
That's remarkable. I really applaud your efforts. Did a great job on this film, and I hope people go out and see it. And about distribution, you have worldwide distribution, or where are we with distribution?
So we're currently in our festival run. We were very fortunate to have Adam McKay, the very talented Academy Award-winning filmmaker, as our executive producer, and we have a lot of interest from many areas of distribution, but currently Trade Secret is still seeking that global distribution. And I think there's a great public need to see this film, but it also, people are calling it gripping, and it is shocking, but it is, for want of a better word, quite a thrilling, engaging watch, which is important. You have to, in this busy day and age, you need to engage audiences, and look, it wasn't hard. We didn't have to catastrophize the subject. It was shocking unto itself. In fact, if anything, it was a measure of restraint because of just how shocking the things that the film reveals, and we had to be brave, because I think the species of the world deserve it. Deserve bravery and honesty in this time of sort of a lot of fear in telling the truth, and I think this film does tackle those subjects, face on.
No, you're right. It's a very brave film, a very brave story to tell, and the people that do this, they really don't want a film crew documenting their every move, and it was amazing that you ensconced yourself in such close proximity to the people that are performing the atrocities, which is terrible. But I applaud you. I think you did a great job. What's your next project? What do you see next for you?
Well, I hope my next project doesn't take several years to make, but I've got a couple of stories on the go, but they're quite different. I think this quite dark subject matter I need a little break from, and we're looking at things that are terrestrial, and watch this space. But I am always interested in stories that are like an intersection between the human world and the natural world. I've done some pure wildlife documentaries in the past, like Our Oceans, which was narrated by Barack Obama, and they're fantastic. But I think what most draws me in is those sort of where the human world and the natural world collide, and often with not the best results.
Well, we applaud your efforts. Again, Adam McKay, and enjoy the festival. Thanks for being here. We really are honored to have you as part of our broadcast. But we encourage people to go and see Trade Secret, which is an important thing to see.
So my name is Warren Elgort. The movie that I directed is a feature documentary called Arthur Elgort, Models and Muses. I interned at this festival 10 years ago, and I've always dreamt of having my movie play here, and now it's premiering here at the Hamptons Film Festival. Really happy to be here.
Okay, I'm here with a young filmmaker. I'm going to use that term without being disparaging about it. But I think so wonderfully. And the subject is about Arthur Elgort, Model and Muses. And Arthur is your dad, right?
He is. Arthur Elgort is the Vogue photographer whose candid, movement-driven style transformed the pages of magazines and redefined the look of modern fashion photography. But on top of all of that, he's also my father. So we have an emotional family perspective of this legendary photographer, and I'm sure there's so many iconic images that everybody recognizes, but people might not know about how they were made and what went into all of these photos. And you get to hear from some of the most incredible models of our time, like Christy Turlington, who was our first interview, and Grace Coddington, who's one of the great editors at Vogue magazine, as well as Andre Leontali in one of his last interviews before he passed away, and Cindy Crawford's in the movie, Linda Evangelista. Once we picked up some steam, Anna Wintour and Raul Martinez also agreed to be interviewed, and I'm so blessed to have been able to make this movie about my dad.
What was it like growing up in the household where you had such a powerhouse as a dad? I mean, was he like a regular dad? And your mom and dad got married out here in the East End, right?
Yes, my parents were married on the deck of their house out here when it was a dirt road in 1982, and they actually bought the house together without even being allowed to go inside. They just looked at the view and they said, we'll take it. growing up with my dad, you know, one unique part about this film is that he wasn't just my father, but I was also one of his favorite models. He has a book called How to Shoot Your Kids, and he always used his children in his photography. He keeps things light, joyful, humorous, and it helps to have real life enter into the world of fashion. So you have a, you know, Nadja Arman crossing the street for American Vogue, and I'm running behind her. You know, it's as though she's taking her child to school in high fashion. You know, so growing up like that, I thought it was normal. But I do feel as though we were all basically trained from birth to be perfect subjects for his photographs.
And how many siblings do you have?
I am the middle child. I have an older sister, Sophie Elgort, and my younger brother, Ansel Elgort. You might recognize, he's a famous actor.
Wow, what a family, unbelievable. And your mom, what's her?
My mom, she is an opera director, Greta Holby, and she's also, you know, she was a dancer, and my dad started with dance photography before he realized that he wanted to figure out how to make some money, so he went from dance to fashion. But he was taking all of the he was doing all the pro bono work for Balanchine at the New York City Ballet, and he always encouraged his models to move, like I said earlier, that he's you know, iconic for having movement and taking people out of the studio and into the streets and going from poses to more of a joyful, normal, approachable feel.
Unbelievable. And are you, did you follow his footsteps with photography?
So I do love photography and I love creating images, but I wanted to, I love telling stories. So I wanted to do something that, you know, was similar and work towards my strengths, but I like filmmaking. I like watching movies.
You did a great job on this one. I think that I know your father and mother are very proud of you, but we're proud of you too.
Thank you. You know, what's funny about my dad is that he doesn't like giving so much validation, even with his own work. He wants people to keep working at it and getting better. So most of the time he just says, what are you doing next? You're still working on a movie about me? I'm not that interesting. You know, you should make a Western or you know, a movie about somebody else. But anyway, it's been a blessing to make this film. And part of the reason why I made it too is I was studying film in 2021 when he was diagnosed with lymphoma. So there became a time lock that was built into making the film. And then I got to spend, you know, a lot of extra time with my dad. And like, I'll always cherish that.
No, it's terrific. Well, welcome to the festival, and we hope you have a successful run with the movie. And it's something that should have been documented a long time ago, but I'm glad that Audrey's son picked up the mantle and brought it home.
Thank you.
And if people want to find it, where would be the best spot for it? Is it being distributed?
Well, we need distribution. That's part of the reason why we're here. We're hoping people see the movie and fall in love with the inspiring way that my father sees the world. But we need to distribute it and make it available for a general audience. You can see the movie. You can get all the information about the film at ArthurElgortModelsAndMuses.com. And it's screening on October 10th in East Hampton and October 11th at the Southampton Playhouse.
And would your dad be at the screenings?
He'll be at both screenings.
Wow,
that's one reason we want to do it here.
Added bonus, added bonus.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you all the best, and thank you very much for your time and for being with us on this broadcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig. Thank you, Ernie. Appreciate you guys. Come see the movie.
Hey, I'm Matthew Shear. I wrote and directed and starred in the film Fantasy Life. Very excited to be here at the Hamptons International Film Festival. It's just been a really exciting, fun experience.
I'm here with the inimitable Matthew Shear from Manhattan, Upper West Side, right?
Yes.
And he's brought this beautiful movie called Fantasy Life. and it's here, and it's a New York premiere, which we like, a narrative feature, and he's a director and screenwriter. So welcome, Matthew. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here. Oh, take it. Wow. Take ownership.
Tell us about your movie.
Sure. It's my directorial debut, and I wrote the screenplay. I also starred in it, and my co-star, co-lead is Amanda Peet, and yeah, it's a New York story about a guy kind of down on his luck. He's just been fired from his job as a paralegal. He's got some mental health issues. He has a psychiatrist played by Judd Hirsch. And so he goes to see him, and he ends up getting a job babysitting the psychiatrist's grandchildren. And then he ultimately falls for their mother, played by Amanda Peet, who's married. Yeah.
I should have had a bag of popcorn.
Yeah. You were compelled?
Compelled.
Wow.
It was really something. So it's the New York premiere.
Yes.
And what motivated you to do this story? What was the impetus to get you going?
Yeah, I mean, I've been an actor for a long time, and I've just absorbed a lot being on very small movies, big TV shows, and I've read a lot of scripts, auditioning and being in that world, and I had a moment where I wasn't working, a ton, and I thought, I'm gonna give my perspective on this process, and I just ended up having a lot of fun writing the script. So that was my first, impulse. Yeah, it was my first screenplay. And I was lucky to have, an agent as an actor, and, eventually I shared it with her, and she said, I think this is something we can work with, and so
Judd Hirsch is a treasure.
I mean,
how did you find him?
So when I finally kind of got to the stage where I was the director and cast myself in one of the leads, we started to go out to actors, and Amanda Peet was, just a perfect fit for this part, and she ended up liking the script and came on board. And once Amanda came on, it just was an easier process of reaching out to actors. People really love her and respect her, and she hadn't done a movie in a bit, and so when we sent it to Judd, he, for whatever reason, read it and wanted to do it. The casting director said, you can send it to him, he's not going to do it. But he did. He did, and it was like just a dream. He's such a fascinating guy, and he's so sharp. He's 90 years old.
He is 90?
90 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. Time passes on, ladies and gentlemen. But I think this is great, and hopefully, I know you're going to get a lot. You have the buzz on the street that they usually say is very good for your movie, and I think that. And what is your next project? What ideas do you have for your next project?
Well, I'm hoping to direct another screenplay of that I've written. Other than that, I'm doing acting roles, as was my sort of world before this, and yeah, we're really excited about the future of the film. It's got a distributor called Greenwich Entertainment, and it's going to be released in theaters in March of next year.
That's great.
Yeah,
really appreciate it. Again, it is Fantasy Life, and we have Matthew Shearer here, and wish you all the best. Thanks for being here, and really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. It was a
world of luck.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
I am Joe Lauro. I am the producer of Newport and the Great Folk Dream, which premiered at the. We were in Venice for our international premiere, but we had our North American premiere Friday and Saturday at the Hamptons International Film Festival, and we were delighted.
I'm here with the great Joe Lauro. And we know Joe Lauro because he had a wonderful company, that film stock company, and it's amazing. Because of that film stock business, you preserved a lot of footage, A lot of
old archival footage. That's a lot of music footage from the earliest days of sound film up to 2000. We're always 20 years behind the times. That's why they call us historic films. We can't have anything contemporary.
About 30 years behind.
All right, so we're good friends then.
But the movie is called Newport and the Great Folk Dream. You know, before Woodstock and all these other ones, there was Newport.
That's right.
And in those days, in order to get the footage and to record the sound of a band was very difficult. It never really sounded right. But that footage is out there, and
you would be amazed at how right this footage sounds. Back in the day, you remember, this wasn't rock and roll. This was folk music. And they all knew how to sing around one microphone and have it sound superlative. And this movie is a testament to that. It shows you a full band standing around one microphone. So if the guy had to play a guitar solo, he'd lift his guitar up towards the mic. If the guy had a lead vocal, he'd move in towards it. If they were singing a trio, they'd gather around it. This whole thing about miking the bass drum and the pedals, and it just shows you that, why did that happen? Because music got electrified. But in the folk world, you didn't need that.
No, everybody just went out there and did it.
Yeah.
And it's apparent. The film is beautiful, beautiful film, and I'm so glad you're here. You know, we know you for about 100 million years.
That's true.
And we had in the Garden of Eden, Iron Butterfly. We had
in the Garden of Eden, right? The Garden of Eden.
And you took that and you.
Weekend Rebellion. That's the name of your film that you own. Weekend Rebellion. I still love that movie. And I remember you sent us a VHS of it, but it still looks so great. So I'd love to scan the print for you and make it into 4K on the house.
Wow. But, so you're here at the festival, and you've been part of the festival for years.
Yeah.
And you've been, you're a neighbor.
Right. Yeah, I think we're of a handful of local filmmakers that, our films were selected on their merits, not because of our proximity to East Hampton Theater. And we're happy about that because, in fact, while I did have a film 25 years ago at the festival called Louis Prima the Wildest, who won the Audience Award, but they didn't, when our film was submitted by our publicist, they didn't know that I lived here. So they liked the film, and we're happy about that. And it went over very well.
And Louis Prima was something else.
Louis was a trip, man.
Healy Smith.
Yep.
But it's so wonderful. So this movie, the plot or whatever is obvious, but just for the viewers at home, just give a thumbnail sketch of what it's.
Well, there are 4 different stories. It's a complicated narrative. It's easy to follow, but for us as filmmakers, we never left the era. So the film takes place between 1963 and 1966. And everything you see is footage from those years. We didn't recreate anything. We didn't do talking head interviews with people that were there now. Everything is of the moment. They call it an immersion film. So you're immersed in the time. And so within that, we told the story of the origins of the festival itself. And that festival, created by George Wein, became basically
Granddaddy of them all.
the granddaddy of them all, and the model for all great festivals that followed, where they would have different stages. They'd have workshops, more than just a rock concert.
Right.
And so we told that story. Then we told the story of the battle between the purists like Pete Seeger and Alan Lomax, and the young kids managed by people like Albert Grossman and Bob Dylan's manager, and how there was this kind of battle that got harder and harder to fight as the years went on between purity, meaning singing protest songs, singing songs about labor, topical songs, and then people singing songs about their love life, you know, as it progressed. And then when it went electric, that was this symbolic end of it. It was a rebirth, but it was an end of the original folk era. Yeah.
That really didn't, because it emerged into something else.
So our film shows that happening through the years, and it also presents these amazing artists that the Newport people went out and found. Everyone thought they were dead. They didn't have Spotify back then. They didn't have reissue. They didn't even have reissue LPs. So if you had an old '78 of Mississippi John Hurt, there might have been one track on one album, but all the college kids were paying attention to this, and Newport found all these old guys and brought them to the festival. Everyone thought they were dead. So there they were. There's Mississippi John Hurt. There's Howlin' Wolf. There's all these people and they were still alive. They're only in their 60s, and they brought them to Newport, and it was a revelation. And so that was the other story that was going on.
That's amazing.
And then also how the music fueled the civil rights era, how they were singing about protests, how people like the Freedom Singers were going out and they believed in peaceful protests. So the cops started hitting them with the clubs. They would, hold hands and sing. And all they wanted to do was get black folks to register to vote. They were going down to Mississippi and all that. And those were rough times. So they were beating the hell out of them, throwing them in jail, but there was non-violent protest. And Freedom Singers were there. And all the songs that they were singing were part of the civil rights movement,
part of American history.
And the whole idea of singing to give you unity. When you're singing somebody's song, he's not out to shoot. And that was the theory, and it worked for a while,
Except if you performed in Brooklyn,
then in Brooklyn they're going to throw bottles at you no matter what, right?
Well, Joe, it's a pleasure just to see you. Joe Lauro.
Thank you.
Filmmaker, film historian,
Great to see the brothers.
Yeah, the brothers are here with you. But thanks again, Joe, for being here.
All right, thanks
Good luck
a lot.
with the festival.
Yeah, great.
Hi, my name is Doug Gallo. I am the director and editor of West Landing, which is playing in the Views from Long Island Shorts program, and I'm so excited to be here at the 33rd Hamptons International Film Festival.
Very proud to have Doug Gallo, and he is presenting a movie, West Landing. He's the director, and it's one of the View from Long Island films. And aside from being part of the station, I'm also one of the film commissioners, and we're very proud, as a commission, very proud of your film. Very, very, very proud of it. So welcome to the festival. And so Doug, give us a little bit of background of West Landing.
Sure. So West Landing is a short documentary about a group of open water swimmers in the Hampton Bays, and they're all, or almost all, over 60. 99% of them are retired. They found each other in the Peconic Bay and have formed this really wonderful, non-competitive community with each other, and they lean on each other both in the water and out. And my mom's a part of the group, so that's how I found them, and they're fantastic.
It's such a great story, and here on the eastern end of Long Island, the water sports, fishing, swimming is part of the fabric of why we like being out here. And you captured it perfectly with this movie. It really is something. And so, tell me a little bit about yourself. Did you go to film school, or?
Sure. So I graduated from Pace University in 2022 with degrees in both theater directing and in film. So a little bit of both. This is my first film, and I was doing mostly, production work out of college, being a production assistant, working on sets, learning everything I could, and I was just thinking, how do I start? Where do I start with my film career? And I went upstairs and I started talking to my mom, who's a part of this group and loves it. She's retired. It's become this massive part of her life to swim every single day with these folks. They're still swimming in October. They went out this morning, and they're just a really inspirational and wonderful group. So, yeah.
We love it too. I have two sons, and they're not youngsters. They're adults. But I remember when we first came out here over 30 some odd years ago, I put them in the water, and we were in the water until November, and both of them became exquisite swimmers, and it's part of the fabric of out here that why not get out there and swim? And it's a perfect thing, and it's an exercise you can do until you're 90 or 100. It's really something.
A lot of them are close. We have members of the group. They're 80 years old, and they're swimming every single day, open water, jellyfish, sea lice, waves, everything, and they love it.
And no wetsuit, they just go out.
It depends. Come the fall, they'll start wearing a wetsuit, but in the height of the summer, no way.
They don't need it, no. But that's terrific. And what's your next vision? What do you see doing next?
That's a great question. I mean, like I said, I come from theater. I'm looking to get back on stage a little bit, do some more directing there. But after that, I'm looking at a narrative short film about marathon dancing.
Oh, wow.
So that's sort of the next thing that's cooking in my brain.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
I'd recommend my brother to join in on that, but he doesn't do it. So.
That's all right.
But just to see him, just to see him try would be a good thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? For comic relief.
Yes, it's fascinating.
That's great. And are you a member of the East End?
Yes. So my parents have a place in the Hampton Bays, and we live primarily in Belmore in Nassau County, but we spend all summer out here, and I love it. It's the most beautiful place, and to shoot a film out here was surreal because I grew up coming here. I know these beaches like the back of my hand, and to bring a camera out there and share the beauty of West Landing Beach with people far from the East End. We've played in Louisiana, and we played in Italy this film twice, like all different places at small festivals, and to share the East End with the whole country and the world has been a blessing.
Well, it's been very well received. We're very proud of you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. We look forward to your future work.
Thank you.
I'm Sophie Shahinian here at the Hamptons Film Festival. I couldn't be more delighted than to have my film, Shireen Nishat, Voice of a Woman, part of the Views from Long Island documentary program. And it's just such a thrill to be able to be in the film festival of where I live. We just happen to have a world-class festival that has a program for local filmmakers, which is extremely exciting, and I'm very grateful.
Well, we're lucky to have an old friend, Sophie Shahinian, filmmaker, East End personality, and she's here with a movie that she worked on. And welcome, Sophie.
Thank you.
Grab the mic.
Oh, thanks, Greg.
Tell us about your movie.
So the film that has been accepted here is a short documentary film. It's 17 minutes long, called Shireen Nishat, Voice of a Woman. And it's about the Iranian-American artist Shireen Nishat, who has been working for decades with a subject matter of women's bodies as a locus for talking about their exploitation and how women are used for religious purposes, political agendas, and she's, an amazing artist, and we were lucky enough to get a really nice interview with her, and we turned it into this film, Voice of a Woman.
Now, over the years, you've done a lot of work. I know that you worked with a dear friend of ours, Matt Hindra, and you did colossal amount of work together, and I think that seeing it today is really amazing. It's like old home week, you know, to see you. And you've always been involved in projects with people that are artistic and grounded, and a lot of them here are from the East End. So we're very pleased about that. But what's your next project? What do you plan on doing next?
Well, thanks for remembering about the overall project, which is the Artist Profile Archive, which I've been working on with Matt Hindra for over 10 years now. And we have probably close to 40 films on the website right now, if you could believe that.
40?
Yeah, the artistprofilearchive.com and the Artist Profile Archive on Instagram. And so we're actually doing our first feature-length documentary right now, which is called Pictures of Pictures, and it's about the pictures generation of artists who came up in the 80s in New York City. And the one gallery that worked with a lot of those artists, which was Metro Pictures. And Metro Pictures existed from 1980 until 2020, and 2021. And they represented some of the greatest artists from that school, that artistic school of thought. And yeah, so we're working on that now, and we have a trailer up on our website, picturesofpictures.com, and it seems like a natural progression to go from all of the individual artist portraits that we've been working on to work on something that's more encompassing of a lot of different artists at the same time.
Well, keep on doing what you're doing. I think it's exciting, and we're very proud of you. And as one of the film commissioners, we're very happy that you're doing what you're doing because of its Long Island subject matter, and it's very difficult to do anything here on Long Island. In particular, what you went through in your career, you really kept the flame going, which is deeply appreciated.
Greg, if I could just say, actually, I find it very kind of easy to do things out here because there's so much talent. There's so many people to work with, and of course, I found the most talented collaborator possible, which is Matt Hindra. And working with Matt makes things happen, and there's so many people out here who are willing to help, and we always have people who are available to work on productions. You know, our website is maintained out here, and there's so many interesting people who are willing to work on projects that have a good message.
Well, we're very proud of Matt too, and Sabina, and they're terrific. But we're very proud of you. You did a great job, and we're looking forward to more projects and continued success. And welcome to the festival. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Ernie.
Hi there, I'm Ari Selinger, writer and director of the film On the End, about Tom Ferreira, a Montauk mechanic fighting for his house. It played last night at the Sag Harbor Cinema, and tonight it'll be playing at the East Hampton Cinema at 7:30. And it's a real love letter to Montauk, so I hope you make it.
We're here with Ari Selinger, and the movie is On the End. And you can't get any further out on the end than here in East Hampton, except Montauk. But welcome, it's world premiere. And Ari, just tell us a little bit about the movie. First of all, welcome.
Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's a great story about a guy named Tom Ferreira. He lived out in Montauk on Navy Beach on the End, and he worked and lived on a beautiful piece of property on the beach, but he was very messy. And a couple realtors came by and wanted him to get the hell out of there, and so they pulled some moves and played some town politics to get him to go, and he fought back. And it's a David and Goliath story, also a love story about him and his oddball girlfriend Freckles. They basically take on the town, and yeah, it's a real guy versus society story.
Great.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah.
It couldn't happen to a better town, I tell you.
Honestly, yeah.
That's great. And these stories like this are not unusual.
No, not at all.
Because if somebody that has a lot of muscle, a lot of money says, I don't like you're blocking my view of the ocean. I don't like the fact that you're messy or whatever it is. Although it's your property, you can do what the heck you want.
Yeah.
They sort of rally to get you evicted or moved or whatever.
Yeah, totally.
And I think it's a great movie, and I think it's, especially here on the East End, it's probably going to get a lot of headwind.
It was great. We had a great screening last night, and yeah, it's been a dream. I always wanted it to play here. It makes more sense than any place.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And do you have distribution for the movie?
I think we're gonna get some. We have a team Submarine. They're helping us get distribution, and we'll see where we land. But I hope so. I think people are gonna like it.
It'll land good.
Sounds good.
Because I think that the other thing too is there are a lot of people that come out here and look at movies made on Long Island and movies with that theme.
Yeah.
And it's a heroic theme. It's something that will play anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it should get the widest distribution ever.
Yeah, tell Submarine. I think they're on board, but it's. It's funny. It's great that it's starting here, but I actually think, and I've been hearing it from a lot of people, that it's this is a story that you play it in India, you play it in California, Canada, wherever. It's land stories.
It's as old as time.
It's as old as time. Is once whoever put up that first fence started a whole hierarchy whenever that first happened.
And to think when they used to have the cattle drives from Montauk all the way to the head end of where the train was, to put the cattle on board the train to bring it to the slaughterhouses out in New York and New Jersey. It was always like a situation. It was like the Wild West.
It really was, yeah.
And that type of tradition is maintained. And people, like, when it comes to property, it really it strikes a deep chord,
It really does. Yeah. I mean, it's funny that you mentioned it. Yeah, well, I think Deep Hollow Ranch is the oldest ranch in the U.S.
Teddy Roosevelt had his...
I mean, the story of Montauk is just... I couldn't tell it all in one movie because it's so fascinating, with Carl Fisher.
Talk about Camp Hero.
Yeah, I know. Right. There's Camp Hero. And there's so many great characters. Even the Andy Warhol estate.
Right.
I remember I first met the guy named Russell Drum who wrote for the East Hampton Star. He wrote a great book called In the Slick of the Cricket. That would then became. It was about Frank Mundus, and that became the blueprint for Jaws. Yeah. And there's just so many phases. Even where we shot Navy Road used to be the center of town. It used to be the main street of town until the hurricane of '38.
Blew everything.
Yeah.
It was the anniversary of the hurricane a couple of weeks ago.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, 1938, and it really it changed. It split the islands. I mean, it was like that severe.
Really?
Oh yeah. The Napeak stretch was.
It was good.
Separated there for a while.
I know that Napeak stretch is very precarious if you think about it.
It is. It's a beautiful area, filled with stories, and they should be documented. And you did a great job on this. This is really incredible.
It was a pleasure to do it. He's been an old friend of mine. I met him when I was 20, and I was making short films, and I met him, and he was always telling me, tell this story. And it wasn't until 2020 where I was like, I think I'm old enough to tell this story.
Film school?
Yeah, I went to NYU.
Oh, my son, my oldest son graduated. Works for Sony, but it was a great experience. Terrific.
I hope NYU hears this when I say it was the defining experience of my young adult life. I learned everything. I met everybody that worked on this movie. I met in class, in a writing class. Even my director of photography gave the speech at my wedding. I met him, at NYU, and here we are making a movie.
My son, he graduated like 17 years ago, so it's a while. But he didn't touch a film camera until I think the second year.
Yeah, right. They do that. Yeah, because they want you to picture it all in your head.
Black and white still film.
Yeah, right, exactly. Frame and sequence.
Right.
Frame and sequence. I remember when I heard that, I was like, what do you mean I don't get to touch a camera? But it was actually a great way to conceptualize your stories through images.
Right.
I hold that very dear, actually.
No, actually, it made a lot of sense because, you know, to throw yourself into motion pictures and, you know, to have, you know, the film festival here used to give a prize, and Kodak used to give, I don't know how many thousands of feet of raw stock.
Is that right?
Yeah. And then the title house would do the titles for the filmmakers. And we actually, because we've been doing this for 30 years, we actually witnessed the change of technology where it went from emulsion to electronic to digital, and it's amazing. Now a 9-year-old with an iPhone can make a movie.
It teaches, yeah, it teaches you a lot of restraint. I mean, you could just take out your camera, film anything. That's a great way to get started. But you know, it does. A lot of the work happens in the head, you know, and learning how to storyboard and do all that. It's, you know, you want people who have actually really thought about how they're going to tell their story. I love when you know that somebody's really planned out an experience for you way before you sit in the theater, as opposed to just, you know, you see videos all the time. Documentary, great, but I loved that about film school, that you know, plan your shot. When we shot on film, I remember, you know, it's like, you know, this could overexpose. So make sure you know exactly what you need, and you might cut it. Remember, I did the Steenbeck machine. I was like, we were the last class to use the Steenbeck machine, and it's like, listen, you better know where you're going to cut, because you're going to need to tape it up, and it's going to look funky if you, yeah, you know, and you only got one. Yeah,
the Steenbeck machines are unbelievable. My brother and I we've been in business since 1977, distributing movies and stuff, and we had one, and it was an archaic piece of equipment, and I remember the day we got rid of it, it took 6 guys to carry it out.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was a mess. But it was a part of history that left, you know? And we weren't really sad about it, but it was something that we lived with, you know.
Yeah.
We used to distribute films, and we used to actually take film cans, 3 cans, and we'd go all around the United States with these film cans. Or if we went international, we'd have to go through customs, and it was really a trip. But today, I mean, you can carry it on your phone or on a chip, and not worrying about stuff. But anyway, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, of course.
It's a great movie, and just your next project. What are you going to work on next?
Ooh, I have 3 that I'm working on. I want to see which one bites, but it's about a radio station, about a small town radio station, and the power of music, and what we hear. You know,
set now or set in the 50s?
It said in the 90s, right when radios still, you know, were big. But it does kind of have a dialogue with podcasts, and it's, you know, it's about free speech and what this kind of communal dialogue should be. But it's also fun and a love story.
That's a great idea. I'm looking forward to that.
Thanks.
Well, I'm very honored that you're here, and thanks again for being here. And you're
On the End.
On the End. And go see On the End wherever it is.
We'll play tonight in East Hampton. I know it's sold out, but go get Rush tickets. 7:30 tonight, East Hampton Cinema.
And your website is?
RESelinger.com.
This is a very magical interview because it's about the magic hour. Every hour is magical, don't you think?
Yeah, but some are more magical than others.
That's right.
That's why this is Magic Hour.
I'm here with this lovely crew here, and they produced and directed and starred in the New York premiere of the narrative feature, The Magic Hour, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you all. I'll start over here.
Hi, I'm Miriam Shore, and I am the actress in Magic Hour. Not the actress, one of.
She is in every shot of the movie, so she is the actress. Yeah, she is the star of the movie. I'm Jacqueline Christie. I'm the writer, director, producer of Magic Hour.
I'm Sendal Ramamurthy, and I play Hank in Magic Hour.
Hank.
Hank.
I play Harriet.
That's good. That's terrific. Hank and Harriet.
Hank and Harriet.
That's going to be spun off into a
sitcom.
And a
a brutal
You never know.
sitcom.
Oh, phone's ringing.
There it is.
Sitcom.
You're right.
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about the movie and what brought you all to collaborate.
You're the creator.
The creator. Here she is.
All right, I'll start with that one. So basically, this is a film that is loosely, very loosely inspired by true events. It is about a woman in her 40s who goes to film school, and it was inspired by me attending the NYU graduate film program in my 40s, and I had such an adventure there. I had so many challenges, but a lot of joy, and I wanted to share that story with other people who also might have a long lost, cherished dream that they're a little too timid to actually kind of claim and go for it. So this movie is about a second chance at life.
So what were you doing before you went to film school?
So this is not in the film because this is what I actually did as opposed to Harriet, the character. So I had a theater space, and I still have a theater company that I started and ran for many decades, and I basically spent my life supporting the work of other artists, and I feel really good about that. I'm really proud of the work I did, but my own voice was something that I held back on, I think out of fear, and I didn't have the courage to say, well, I'm also a creative person, I'm also a writer and a director, and I felt more comfortable hiding in the shadows a little, and I think that there was a little cowardice there, and so I had to push myself to say, no, I've always wanted to be a filmmaker myself, not just support the work of others, and I think some people might find that relatable, and this is a battle cry from going for it.
Great.
Yeah, so the character as it is fictionalized in the film is a woman who went to film school when she was young and then left it and then ends up as a housewife in New Jersey who sort of had given up on that dream. And circumstances in her life change, her daughter's going off to college, her husband cheats on her and leaves her, and she thinks, what if I went back? And she does go back, and I feel like so many people feel like their voice, their story, what they have to say isn't as important as others. Right, and I think a lot of women think like, oh, well, who am I to tell my story? No one's going to care. But I actually think a lot of people feel that way. And I think everyone has a story to tell that's valid, and everyone has something that they want to give to the world, and it will be valued if you believe in it enough, you know. Sure. And that's sort of the narrative of the movie.
NYU is such a great school. We're prejudiced because.
Did you go?
Oh yeah.
Yes! I love it.
Yeah.
Did you go to film school there?
No.
Okay.
Business.
Business?
Nope. No. Got it.
Oh, what's psychology?
Very smart. Very
Psychology.
smart.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. What's your diagnosis? Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Almost the same, but without a camera. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But and my son went to NYU Film School.
Oh, I wonder if I know him.
Joe Chemise. He's worked for Sony now.
Nice. Well, he should come see the movie. He'll relate.
Oh,
He'll
yeah.
recognize himself in some of the scenes, I think.
He graduated about 17 years ago, and he got hired by Sony.
Well done.
So
Worst places to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice job there.
Anyway.
So what is it like producing a movie?
That's a great question. This is my first feature film, and I was the writer, director, and lead producer on the film, so it was a lot. It remains a lot, but it's a labor of love. And it was one of those things where I was like, you know what makes me want to get up in the morning and get a cup of coffee and start writing, get a cup of coffee and start collaborating with these geniuses around me. There's something about the movie, about the message behind the movie, about the direct experience that I had of making the movie that has been fueled by passion. And it's not just my passion, it's basically getting to work with other collaborators, bringing in their voices, watching the story morph and evolve into something beyond what I could have ever done on my own, or beyond what I could have imagined, because of the incredible actors and what they brought to the story, because of the designers, the DP, the sound, our Grammy-winning composer, and all of a sudden all these different elements come together, and it's just infinitely better than what I could have possibly imagined. So it's been this process of elevation and evolution and trying things that I've never done before and failing and picking up and trying again. So the process of making the movie has been challenging, but also incredibly beautiful and inspiring, especially because people show up for it with their talents and their generosity of spirit, and it's deeply moving. So it's been kind of an incredible journey, actually.
You can see that because you almost developed into a family, all of you.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you know, you don't get that.
And Sandra, what was it like for you to be part of this?
I mean, for me, I fell in love with the script kind of as soon as I read it. And for me, because I've done most of my work in television, the best experience that I've had on film, they've all been on female-led projects, female directors. The last 6 movies I've done have all been indie films directed and produced by women, and they seem to foster an environment on set that I find incredibly welcoming, and I feel safe to kind of like try things, and you know, there's no kind of, I don't feel like there's as much ego, and it's not as ego driven, and I really enjoy that experience. And I also enjoy just kind of trying to like help like a new female director in any way that I can by being in the movie, and it was made very easy for me by the script being so good, and then I knew Miriam was in it. That kind of was all I needed to know. Yeah.
That's terrific. Very good.
So, in doing this film versus the other movies you've done as a professional actress, what was it like?
You know, it's interesting. I have done some really huge budget movies, right, like a Marvel movie and other huge budget movies. And I originally, which are fantastic, right, but I originally came from theater. I still love theater. It's still the love of my life and why I do this. And there is a spirit in theater of collaboration and of scrappiness that is only, I have only really found in independent film. Right, and I crave that because you're valuable in that in every way. Every part of you is, sure. And there's something very pure about it too. The cynicism is at a much lower level, and so you know. It's also heartening if you are someone who wants to keep creating, to watch something be created with not as many resources, and right. To realize, like, right, you don't need a budget of $250,000. 250. Sorry.
I was about to say 250,000.
Sorry, yes, maybe you need that actually.
Because my brain will process the fact that it was $250 million. That just you know that's incredible, but you don't need it to tell the story, you know, and to be reminded of that. And it is just to go back to what I fell in love with, which wow. is the scrappiness of being an artist, you know?
So where do you go from here? Are you guys going to collaborate for something new?
I mean, if she's, listen, Jackie sends me another script.
If she'll write it.
Read that script. I'll read any script Jackie sends.
Yay! That makes me so happy. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, but talk about where you are.
I would be thrilled to work with these guys on every single movie I ever make because they're just geniuses. They're charming. They're lovely. They're like family and inspire me every day. So yeah, we really are shooting for theatrical distribution for this movie. Without giving anything away, I can say that it literally begins and ends in a cinema, with people surrounding us, and it's a comedy, but it's also a drama. It's best to experience in an actual theater with other people laughing and crying around you. It's a good night out for people because what I love about this movie is what people do when after they watch it, they don't come up to me and talk about the movie. They come up to me and they talk about themselves and their long lost dream and what they want to do, and that's what they're charged up about. So I want them to go with their friends and go out after, over drinks, over dinner, and talk about their long lost dreams and reclaim. Maybe we talk about magic art if they want to, but more importantly, what does it kind of wake up in them? And that is something that I feel like is going to do really well to kind of get people actually out in the theater.
It's a great compliment to the movie because it stimulates at a much deeper level. Anybody could say, oh, you know, the story is such and such, and that's you hit it right on the head. That's great. Well, I'm so happy that you're here.
Yeah.
And you put up with us. My God. You know,
No, you guys are amazing. The best.
But,
You're the best.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. But we wish you luck. Magic Hours, the movie. Go out and see it. There's a website, right?
Yes, magichour.us. Please join our mailing list. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram. We will be rolling out at other festivals, but I want to shout out the best festivals, the Hamptons International Film Festival. We're very grateful. But we're coming out at other festivals, and look for us in a theater near you next year.
Thanks for watching WVVH-TV's coverage of the 33rd Annual Hamptons International Film Festival here on WVVH-TV, Hamptons Television. For more information, visit the website of the Hamptons Film Festival at hamptonsfilmfest.org.
Come see films together. Some experiences are too big to fit in your living room. The Hamptons International Film Festival, October 3rd through the 13th. Tickets available now.